Hello everyone, and welcome to my Minecraft tutorial. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, which is a fortified manor house. And that's kind of a term that we give to something that's in between a castle and a manor house. And these things, they pretty much preceded the big castles of early medieval Europe. And basically, as castles became less about defense and more about, well, I suppose living it up and, being nice places to live, because castles are pretty uncomfortable. And the fortified manor houses really became the big thing. They're often built onto the existing castles, and later they often got kind of renovated and demolished and replaced with these big fancy country houses. But the fortified manor house is a nice kind of step in between. So let's get started with the tutorial. Alright, so for starters we're going to take up a 16 by 32 plot, and you can see I've marked it at the very corners with some cobblestone on the ground here. And yeah, I suppose the easiest way to do this is to build kind of each segment individually, and then as we go you'll see they all kind of get stuck together. So it turns out quite nice. But I suppose that the hardest thing about laying out the floor foundations is that it's kind of hard to get somewhere to judge it by. So if I just grab some stone here, I'll use these as kind of markers for measuring. So if we come in from the very corner of the plot, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? And then we're going to come in by one block, and if you lay the floorboards first, this can prove to be a lot easier. So you can see we've come in 8 blocks, we've skipped one, and then if you dig down, that's going to be this piece of floorboard here. Now this whole area is going to be 3 wide by 12 long, so you can basically just kind of see the arrangement there. So that's going to be a big long rectangle. Then if we come down 4 blocks from the far side, we're going to extend out a little 3 by 3 square of wooden planks. So you can kind of see from the video, but if not, you should be able to kind of measure it out by the words that are coming out of my mouth. Okay, so basically we're going to surround that with stone bricks all along the outside, and then on the inside, once you get to this wall, you're going to skip 2, add another stone brick, skip 3, add a stone brick, and skip 2, and then you should meet up with the rest of the wall. For the floorboards here, we've just laid them out with oak wood planks, and then in between these gaps, which are going to become pillars, basically these are just ordinary stone slabs, smooth stone slabs. So yeah, that's about it for that phase. So next up, along each of the corners, we've made pillars. So basically, coming from the original foundation, they're going to extend upwards by 5, or basically 6 blocks total. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can see they're basically, if you come around to all the corners and stick them there, and then the places which I showed were pillars earlier, these are only going to be 5 blocks high. So add 4 on from what you had before. But yeah, the rest will all be 6 high. So just bear that in mind. So that's about it for that phase. Next up, we started filling in the walls. And basically you can see that it's all cobble except for the top row, which is double slabs. So it's basically going to come up 4 blocks with cobble, and then you've got a layer of stone slabs on the outside, on the top. So if we do that all along the outside walls, basically 4 blocks high with cobble, then a double slab on top. You can kind of see the arrangement there. And then on the inside where these pillars are, we're basically just going to place double slabs all along the top, and not worry about this inside space because this is going to be, well, I suppose it's all going to be just open, so we don't need to worry about that. Then on top, I've put down a floor of spruce wood planks, and basically this covers the entire area except for a 3 by 3 square over in this wing. I've also placed down a staircase here, although this is optional, as there will be another staircase that you can use to access, but I like to have them kind of spaced out. So this is kind of a switchback stair, just right in the middle. You can place a pillar here if you want, and I'll be doing that later. But the way these stairs are built is just, I place normal stairs and then upside down stairs beneath them. So yeah, that's about it for that phase. Next up, we're going to start placing the upper floor. Basically you can see I've jettied out by 1 block, basically on all the edges. So these pillars are going to be 4 blocks total. So 1, 2, 3, 4 in case you don't believe me. But because they're jettied out, the rest of them are only going to be 3 high. So 1, 2, 3. And basically if you just place those in the outer corners, with the exception of course, these ones are going to be jettied out. So basically, in some of the areas where there was previously stone bricks, you place those down. But then we're also going to add in a few extras as well as move these ones out. So you can pretty much see the arrangement here. I think if I tried to measure it out, it would just kind of confuse the matter. But yeah, basically if we come in here, place one on top of these stone bricks, and place a gap of one, and then another pillar there. And the reason for this is that there's going to be a little doorway here later. And apologies for the planks switching colors. That's basically World Edit is a slightly buggy version, which I'll talk about more later. But yeah, so you want to skip 3, place another pillar, and then skip 4, and this will all be kind of part of the upper structure later on. Okay, so coming over here, you can see I've filled in all the walls, and this is, I'm actually using clay at the moment, although it can look very funny in some texture packs, so I'd recommend using white or light grey wool, but again, it depends on your texture pack because there's some slight differences between them all. Then underneath these jettied sections, what we're going to do is, if I just grab some jungle slabs here, sorry, not jungle spruce, we're going to place some upside down stairs beneath this whole thing so that it looks nicely supported. So basically wherever it's jettied out, we're going to place some upside down stairs and a half slab as shown. So another one over here, and then we'll do the same in the other wing in a second. And if I come up on top here, you can see we've basically filled in all the walls with clay in this case, or wool, depending on what you want to use. And basically the only gap is going to be this little gap here, which I talked about earlier, which is going to be a door. So yeah, that is about it, aside from the fact that we've raised the gables. So basically I've put up 3 oak wood planks and then a piece of clay on top, and that's because the stairs, or sorry, the roof is going to go on here later, so that just gives a kind of shape to it so that we know where we're building. So yeah, that's about it for that phase. Next up, we place the roof, pretty much as we've done before, and I just destroyed a wall there, so apologies for that. So yeah, basically as we've done before. If you're doing this on 1.3, then it can get quite tricky as the stair blocks and their placement is a little bit funny. But yeah, basically on top of this gable, where it meets the clay, we're going to place down some slabs and then raise up the very point of the gable. The top of the gable here is 1 block, as in it's a full block instead of a half slab. And that just kind of breaks up the roof and makes it look like one is joined onto the other. And then on top of that block, we're just going to place another slab, just to kind of point out the gables. And these come off the sides. You can see in here, I've got a full block, just where they join. Although if you're doing this on 1.4, obviously you're not going to need to do that because the stairs will join up. So yeah, we've kind of basically extended them out over the sides just to give a bit of an overhang. So we do that on pretty much every side except for this side, as this is all going to join onto a separate part of the building later. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Next up, we're going to come to basically the opposite corner, and we're going to start on the main keep. And the idea is that this would be like an older style castle keep that the rest of the manor was just sort of built around. So we've got a circular tower in the corner, and then the rest is just one big room. So it shouldn't be too difficult. So if we come over to the very edge of the plot, so remember this is 32 blocks in this direction and 16 blocks in this direction away from the original corner that we started on. Basically we're going to place a round tower, which is 3 by 3. So if we just get some, actually you can see it's 3 by 3, or I should say it's going to be 3 by 3 on the inside. So it forms a little square, and then you basically just don't put in the corners. And this gives a kind of rounded effect later on. Then coming off from that, what we're going to do is basically come out from the edges of the tower on the outside and build our way across like this. And basically from the edge of the tower, so let's call this the edge, it's going to be 6 blocks in this direction, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's fine. And then it's going to be 7 blocks in this direction, so again, taking this as taking this block as the edge of the tower, it's going to be 7 blocks away from this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can pretty much see how that's been done there. And basically you just want to join all that up into a big square. So that's pretty much it. So next up what we're going to do is basically build up the corners of, well, basically the entire structure. So this has come up it's come up 10 blocks from the bottom, So it's going to be 11 blocks total. So just to verify, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you can see there, we basically come around, surrounded the entire tower, and then put one big stack on each of the corners of the actual, the main keep. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You can kind of see the arrangement within the tower, how it's been done. Basically, there's a little gap in the wall, and yeah, the rest is all just surrounding it. So that's about it for that phase. So next up, what we've done is basically just filled in the entire wall. So we're going to come up 9 blocks with cobble, because you remember we had like a frame before, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then basically on top of the entire top of the structure, we're just going to place a layer of double slabs, so double smooth stone slabs. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That'll kind of give you the basic shell of the entire keep. We'll add in all the details later. Don't worry about the walls too much, because we'll be adding in windows and stuff in a little bit. But yeah, for the moment, let's just move on to the next phase. So next up, what we're going to do is basically take this back wall, so where the keep kind of lines up with the servants' quarters. What we're going to do is basically build just a single block tall wall all the way across, all along the bottom. So if you've measured it out right, that should be 12 blocks total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Cool. And then starting over at this side, what you're going to do is place some pillars, which are going to be 8 blocks high total. So that's including the bottom bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you're going to make 4 of those, and you're going to skip 2 blocks every time. So yeah, basically make 4 of those, and then yeah, what we're going to do is come around and start detailing some of the windows. So first up on the inside, what we're going to do is just place some ordinary stone brick stairs facing kind of out the way. This basically just gives a kind of nice effect later on where it looks like, well, the entire thing is, it's just slightly built into the wall. On top of the pillars, we're going to place some stone brick stairs facing the other way. And then in between these, what we're going to do is we're basically just going to kind of come around on the inside and place some upside down stairs, sort of facing the opposite direction. So you can kind of see there's no gap between the two, but I suppose it just kind of adds a little bit more detail. So we're going to place those between each of the pillars, including the one that joins onto the wall of the castle. So like so. And then on top of the upside down stairs, what we're going to do is place a little peak. So basically just place 2 stairs like so. And yeah, do that for the 4 of the windows, like so, and then basically just fill in the actual windows with some glass panes. So if you've measured it all out, okay, it should be each window should be 6 by 2, so 6 blocks high, 2 blocks wide. So yeah, that's about it for that phase. So then we're going to build basically a small wall in this area. You can kind of see it's where the set of stone bricks joins on, and the pillars start on the far side. So it's basically going to be right along this edge. And this entire wall is going to be 6 blocks long. And it's going to be in the exact same style as before. So, say, vertically we have a layer of stone bricks, then 4 layers of cobble, then some double slabs. So you can see it's going to be 6 blocks long. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And basically once you've done that, oopsie daisy, you're going to want to make another pillar, which is going to be basically a mirror image of the pillar on the far side. So it's going to be 8 blocks high total of just ordinary stone bricks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then on top of that, we're just going to place a stone brick stair facing inwards. So yeah, pretty much the mirror of the other side. Then what we're going to do is on the second floor, we are going to basically mirror the far side. So we're going to come up 2 blocks with our stone bricks, and then add in some stone brick stairs on the far side. And the windows are going to be exactly the same, which is to say they're going to be some upside down stairs placed like so. So we're going to place 2 of these windows, and then on top of those we're going to place some little peaks, just like so, and then fill them in with glass panes like before. So pretty much as shown. Apologies for the frame rate drop. I seem to have hit a spike somewhere, but let me try and remedy that. Okay, so for starting the main entrance, basically what we're going to do is basically build this kind of structure at the front. So to build this, you're just going to kind of skip a gap of 2, build a pillar which is 5 blocks total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then skip 5 blocks along this way, build another pillar of the same height, skip 2, and then build another pillar. And you're just going to want to link them all up with your stone bricks on top, like so. And basically if I just delete all these kind of measuring stone things, what we're going to be able to do is basically just place some upside down stairs all up in here so that it all looks, well, I suppose, rounded off and like a nice kind of archway. So we'll do the same on the other side. So yeah, that's about it for that phase. So to build a kind of upper floor to this, what we're going to do is come up by 3 blocks on each side of the kind of outer corners, and then build in this wall and fill it with cobble. So we're going to come up 4 blocks, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then just basically kind of build like a kind of, I suppose, a mini sort of staircase up and down, so that you end up with something like this. On top of this, we're going to place some stone brick stairs, just give a nice kind of stone gable to it. And we're actually just going to place a stone brick slab on top here, just to round it off so it doesn't have too much of a point. Then on the inside, to kind of link up the entire, I suppose, structure and the entire front section of the walls, we're just going to build up 2 blocks of cobble and then put 2 sets of double slabs, a set of double slabs on top. And we're going to do that on the other side as well. And the main reason for this is that it gives a kind of nice split level effect, so that the levels don't quite match up and it all looks a bit more, I suppose, looks like it's been built up over time. So yeah, that's about it for that phase. So for getting a start on the roof, basically what we're going to want to do is place some cross beams first. So the first one goes in these, I really dislike stairs. First one goes in the intersection of these 2 pillars, and then the other one goes right over on the edge of this wall. So basically kind of covers up the doorway like that. And from there, what we're going to do is basically wherever you see some of these stairs, just add in some oak wood planks, just ordinary, big square planks. So we're just going to add those in now. And yeah, next up it's the gable. So what we're going to want to do is take some sort of wattle and daubie looking material. So I'm going to use clay again. And if you just give me 1 sec to reset the time. Just sorry, we were starting to lose light there. Basically you can see I'm just going to build them up like so. And then right in the middle, we're going to place another vertical beam. So that's coming in, I suppose, 4 blocks from the very edge of the pillar. So, like so. Then we're going to place a cross beam. And sorry, that's wrong. So we're going to place a cross beam and then just that 1 block on top. And that's going to be our kind of gable. So what you want to do from there is just take your oak wood stairs and start building up. And then we can basically just fill in this entire structure. Right the way over to the castle. So yeah, let me just do that now, speed things along. So yeah, that's about that. Not too bad for a semi-finished product. We'll do the gable in just a little bit, but for the moment let's talk about meeting these 2 stairs up, because at the moment they're kind of a little bit higgledy-piggledy. So basically, because these stairs aren't quite well, I suppose they're a little bit smaller than the actual gable, it gives this nice effect. So what we can do is, if I just come around here, I'll show you how to match them up and get them meeting up nicely. So there we go, there somewhere. Basically what we're going to want to do is just build our way over, and then whenever there's a corner, we can stick in a wooden plank like so. And as for the little bits, when they come down here, you've got 2 options. One is simply placing a wooden block like so, or the other option is to, I suppose, build one of the steps coming down the full way, so that it all kind of, one overrides the other, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I think let's do that on that side just to show you how it's done. So basically you've got 1 step coming down this way and the other coming down this way. So on the underside you can just place another full block, and it looks quite squared off from the inside, so it's okay. So that's about it. For the, I suppose, the very top of the gable, what we're going to do is just place a half slab along here, so you can see, and it all meets up quite nicely. And if I just place this here and then add in some more stairs here, you can see that roof is pretty much done. All that's left to do really is finish off the gable, which we're going to do like so. just with some half slabs coming all the way along. And where it meets up with the castle, you can kind of go on top. And basically, we'll sort out this gable a little bit later. But for the moment, let's just seal it off. So you can see we've got this nice big structure. Our main hall is pretty much done in terms of, well, architectural building and stuff. So yeah, it's starting to come along quite nicely. So let's move on to the next phase. Okay, so next up on the inside, what we're going to do is I've laid down a spruce wood floor. You can use pretty much whatever you want. You can add in some wool if you want to have some kind of rugs and stuff. It's pretty much up to you. Up here you can see, if you remember the place where I told you earlier we were going to be building a door, well, this is it. So basically, if you build a 3-wide path that goes all the way over to the keep, that should give you an idea. And basically we're going to be placing a floor here, so let's just add down a marker so that we know what level we're looking for when we're building a spiral staircase. For the area above the entrance, what we're going to do is just drop down here, lay down another little bit of floor, and then join those two up with some spruce wood stairs. So now this is all kind of one big flowing pattern. We're also going to want to place down some fence posts, just kind of as a bit of a railing to stop people from falling off. So yeah, there we go, and you can see the place where I've knocked in the door. The whole thing links up rather nicely, even though it's all sort of separate buildings and separate techniques, and it all looks a bit different. The other thing to do would be to come down and where we placed these pillars earlier, just place some upside down stairs on top so that it looks like it's kind of giving a bit more support than just being a straight up pillar. So yeah, that's about it for that phase. Let's move on into the keep. So the first thing I'm going to do is basically just knock in a door here, and you can see I've already filled in the top floor, basically from the level that we marked it at earlier. So this is all spruce wood planks again. Again, you can use whatever planks you want or whatever colours. Wherever you want a threshold, I recommend using a stone brick stair. Sorry, half stone slab, I should say. Half smooth stone slab. I get confused with all these different types of stone. But yeah, for the spiral staircase, it's a little bit awkward because you want to, I suppose, you want to have a way of getting in and out that will be able to access each floor, but you also want to have your spiral staircase kind of running smoothly. So I'm going to be doing like an older style of spiral staircase, which is, it's going to be made of stone and sort of built into the walls. And basically we're just going to use half slabs and spiral our way up. And I found if you start off in this location, it's pretty good because it meets up with the upper floors rather nicely. Though as for rotating it and stuff to your own preference, that's up to you. But as you can see, we've got like a little access way upwards. And if I just keep going up, dun, 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 and I follow, great. So yeah, if I just keep going up, you'll be able to see that it sort of meets up with the, well, I suppose what's going to be the roof of the castle quite nicely. So let's just come over here, and yeah, there we go. So we've got our little staircase going all the way up. And yeah, what we're going to do now is just basically fill in the central gap with some stone brick stairs. Sorry, stone bricks. Again, I get confused with the things. So yeah, and you can see it's like a nice kind of spiraling stone staircase. Very kind of archaic looking. And yeah, the whole thing looks quite nice. Next up, we're going to fill in this roof with some stone bricks. And that's basically, that will just kind of help us on our way for the next phase. So let's do that now. So next up, what we're going to want to do is, I suppose, place the big fireplace, because that's going to influence our roof later on. So there's not much point in leaving it for too much later. So the way we're going to do this is basically skip a block here. We're just going to build up this sort of big kind of bulky structure. And what we want to make sure is that all our floor gets replaced with either stone or netherrack. Well, I suppose in the area immediately surrounding the fire, because otherwise the floorboards might catch fire and nobody wants that. So yeah, that should kind of keep it nicely insulated. For the mantelpiece, what we're going to do is basically just place a couple of blocks on top, add in some sideways stairs like so, then add in the mantelpiece like that, and that just kind of frames it nicely. If I can figure out these stairs, and that kind of frames it nicely. So yeah, basically on top of that, we're just going to build our way upwards with a 2-wide row of stone bricks, and we're going to knock these right through the ceiling. So like, so yeah, and then maybe build up one side. It's kind of up to you how these how this looks in the end. You can leave it just like that, or you can do the trick I showed before, which is basically an iron bar and just a half slab on top, and that just kind of, I suppose it makes it more easily identifiable from a distance as being, yes, this is a chimney. So if I just do that now, you can kind of see like that instantly looks more like a chimney. So yeah, let's move back down into the servants' quarters and finish off the fireplace. So one thing I forgot to mention is just add in some iron bars on the edge to kind of give a nice border. So you can see this bottom floor of the keep, I've replaced the floor with gravel. This is going to be the kind of kitchen, the servants' quarters. Part of the old keep, and now that they've renovated and built new features, they don't want to, I suppose they don't want to be living in their crappy old castle. So if I just knock down this area here, you can see that we've got our fireplace basically here, so we want to try and mirror that. But the thing is, because this floor above us is slightly higher, what we're going to do is place the netherrack one block lower, and then it's going to be kind of like a little fire pit. So if I just get some netherrack from wherever it might be located, we'll just stick that in, and basically this will just ensure that the upper floor doesn't catch fire. So we're going to replace all this area with stone bricks, like so. Actually, sorry, I should clarify, we're going to replace it with smooth stone, like so. And basically we're going to kind of mirror the fireplace on the other side, but it'll be a bit different as well. So we're going to build it out like so, and then place some stairs coming out like so. We got our upside down one there, and that just kind of makes it look a bit like a chimney when you don't look too closely. And basically place these sideways blocks here, and this is going to be basically the kind of servants' fireplace. It's going to be for the kitchen, for cooking of food and stuff. And actually, I should have replaced this with stone bricks earlier. So yeah, that's about it. So let's light the fire and test it. Now it should work because it's more than 4 blocks away from the nearest piece of wood above it. But it's always worth testing these things just to make sure before you go any further. So there we go, a nice roaring fire, which hopefully won't spread anywhere. I haven't seen it spread yet, so I'm pretty sure it's in the safe, but you might want to make a backup of your world before you do any of this if you're doing it in a heavily wooded area, or if you're on a server it's fine because most of them have fire spread turned off. So yeah, that's about it for the fireplace. So for the main entrance, it's kind of up to you how big you want it. I'm just going to do a single door because this is based on kind of an earlier fortified manor, so they often have very, very small kind of entrances and stuff so that they could be easily defended. Just in case, they didn't really anticipate attack. This is when they are starting to go more towards I suppose just a better looking type of a house than something that's necessarily very defensible. So I actually already had stairs. So what we're going to do is just basically place just a door like so, and it's not a bad looking entrance. We can maybe mix around these stone stairs so that there's sort of like a nice little portal heading in. We've got our big glass windows as well, just to fancy it up a bit. So yeah, let's move on and finish off the top of the keep because we haven't done that yet. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is basically take our 3 corners that aren't the tower and extend them outwards and upwards and diagonally. So basically just as I've kind of shown there. And then underneath that we're going to place some upside down stone brick steps, like so, and just join them all up and I suppose make a big square and join them up with the tower and stuff as well. When it comes over to the ceiling, it's basically up to you to decide, like, do you want the castle to, I suppose, take precedence over the wood, or do you want the ceiling to, fit in around the castle? So it's up to you. Basically, if you want to just demolish this gable here, you can do, and just kind of, I suppose, get it to all link up more clearly. So basically, if we just place our gable on like so. Sorry, I seem to be having a bit of frame rate fail here. So this kind of last remaining space, you can basically, just fill it in however you want. I'm just going to chuck in some wool. I'll also grab some steps for the outside. So let's just stick that in there and then fill in the rest. So pretty much like so. But as I said, you can kind of decide yourself whether you want the castle to fit in around the house or the house to fit in around the castle. Good lord, I'm falling all over the place today. So the other thing we want to do is just make sure that the rest of it is linked up. So yeah, let's do that now. Then for the battlements, there's a number of kind of different designs you can do. You can sort of build them up on the corners and then have them, gradually slope inwards and downwards if you want, and kind of build them up into these really big battlements. One of the things I like to do is basically knock off the corner so that the entire thing looks a bit more rounded. So if we just do that now with some stone bricks, you'll be able to see what I mean. And then we can kind of extend these down and place some battlements on top of them, like so. And then skip one and kind of keep going in that fashion. And then hopefully the whole thing will meet up nicely and we won't have to worry too much about dimensions and stuff. So, whoop, downstairs. So yeah, that's basically it. It's just a matter of kind of finding the pattern that works for you and the one that, well, I suppose, that you think looks nicest. So for me, you can kind of see what I've done there with the upside down stairs, although again, it's all up to you. So that's quite a nice look. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the main structure. The only other thing to do would be to finish off this turret, which we can do quite easily, and I've done it in multiple videos because I tend to build similar sort of stuff every time. So we'll just fill in this wall with cobble. Actually, the rest of the walls with cobble. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll leave the top one empty. Basically what we'll do then is place a sort of mini turret on top. We'll just do that by adding in some stone brick stairs all around, and then finishing that off by adding them in the other direction, basically, so we get this kind of cool pointy looking battlement on top. And the only other thing to do would be to fill in the walls, or sorry, fill in the floor with some sort of material, and obviously don't forget to leave a gap for a ladder. So that's about it for the turret and well, the roof in general, and in fact the entire structure. So let's move on to the details. Okay, so the first thing you might notice might be these windows. Basically, as I said, I didn't really mark in the windows when I was going, because it's pretty much up to you. You can add in windows wherever you feel like you need them, or wherever you like. You can see we've got quite a variation here. We've got some ones that are made out of cobblestone stairs, so there's kind of a bit of a slope, and then glass panes. We've got ones with iron bars. We've got more in the kind of, I suppose, poorer area of the castle, which are just fence posts, quite simple. Down on the bottom here, I've added in this big, huge bay window, which is basically just 3 stone bricks and then some glass and some stairs on top, which just kind of breaks up the front, gives it a bit more of a nice look. You can see the castle on the ground floor doesn't really have any windows, and that's kind of, I suppose, that was more of a historical move than a proper one. For the furnishings inside, there's a bunch of different things going on here. For starters, it's a chandelier, which is just 2 iron bars, then 5 fence posts with some torches on top, so you can kind of see the arrangement there. This big table is done with pistons, so basically the idea is that there's the redstone torch underneath, so that when you place down the piston, it extends and it looks a bit like a table. Then these chairs were just some ordinary beige planks. You can see on the inside of the bay window we've just added in a little kind of love seat area, little bench type seating area. Yeah, let's come over here. You can see this is the kind of servants' quarters. Sorry, not the servants' quarters, the kind of kitchens. So I've just added in a wooden floor, although I think I prefer the gravel, so I'd say I probably should have kept that. So you can see this fire is slightly set into the ground, so it's not actually catching anything on fire. And one of the kind of cooler things you can do is you can also add, if I just find some brewing stuff, you can add in a cauldron, and it's like a pot of water boiling on the fire. So that's quite nice, having the fire that bit lower. So if I come up here, I haven't actually furnished this room, but it would be perfect for kind of a master bedroom type area. So you can just imagine the lord and lady, they've got their the chimney stuck into the wall, so it's going to be a slightly warmer room than the rest of the place. And it's there's plenty of space here for furnishings and paintings and whatever you want. Coming along this top walkway, you can see we've got some bookcases and just a nice little seating area. The whole thing would be just kind of a casual place to chillax, as the kids say nowadays. This area over here, we've got our little switchback stair. You can see I've pretty much just divided it up into little small rooms, and these would be perfect for kind of servants' quarters, so individual bedrooms for like handmaidens and a squire or whoever you want. So if I come down here, you can see I've got a little furnace which has been built into the wall, And the reason for that, if I just punch a hole in the wall, is we've put in a chimney, just literally just to kind of break up the roof and I suppose add in a second chimney, make it look a bit more funky and asymmetrical. So yeah, it turned out quite nice. I'm quite happy with this build. It's pretty historically accurate in that it's a it's based on kind of the continuation of the earliest castles. So as people moved away from having it all about defense, it became more about luxury, and these sorts of houses kind of reached their peak. Well, I suppose they continued right up until I suppose the 18th century when you had these big sort of palatial manors. But this was kind of like an earlier version of that, which was a fortified manor house. It's somewhere that you can still defend, but at the same time, it's a lot more comfortable to live in than a traditional castle. So, yeah, that's about it for this tutorial. So, thanks everyone for watching. Sorry for rambling in points. And, yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.